All right, so I did a live stream last night, and it ended up getting disconnected. So I never got to the second part, the second topic, which was going to be FBA versus Morris World TV. And I'll get to that later. But on this video, what I want to do is I want to finish my thoughts that I was having on the reparation side of the conversation, because I never really got to address the fact that a lot of these so-called conscious individuals that are echoing the idea that we shouldn't get reparations because we'll just give it out to everybody else. It's a form of projection. And I'm going to prove it with a message or a comment that somebody left on the video a few hours ago. And you know, he wrote a big long paragraph. And what he says is this: if we get reparations, the beneficiaries will be white, Chinese, and Arab people. We already give trillions of dollars every year to white people. We spend money all day in Chinese restaurants located on almost every block in our neighborhood. And when we stay in corner stores owned by Arabs buying halal sandwiches in Dutchess, take $1 million checks from the federal government with our right hand just to hand it over to white, Chinese, and Arabs with our left hand. And I'm not going to read the rest of it because that's really in essence what a lot of people feel. To me, that's projection. To me, what you're doing is you're channeling your own thoughts and you're projecting that on us. Because I know a lot of people would probably give the money right away. But I'm thinking about myself and those who I stay company with, who would definitely know what to do with a big bag, who would definitely understand that buying land, investments, taking care of the family, setting up for generational wealth, buying businesses, the ability to develop things that you already have in your mind that you don't have the time or resources to develop. And that's what I'm concerned with. I'm not concerned with those who are going to do what they're already doing. No more than I'm already concerned with it. See, y'all act like it would be better that we just didn't get reparations. Y'all act like it would be better to not have these resources than to have it and let some people fuck them off if that's what they want to do. And that's just a weird thought that really just shows what intellectual level you're at. Don't project your low vibrational thoughts on us. Like you would never see another people who would speak against something that would benefit the whole because of some that would be ratchet and careless. I'm wondering if Japanese people were like, no, you shouldn't give us money for putting us in those camps in the 40s because some of us are just going to spend it on blah, blah, blah. Probably would never see that. I'm pretty sure that there was no Jewish people that were saying like, hey, we've been destroyed. And hey, if we get this reparations and these billions, well, we'll just spend it on Mercedes-Benz, and Mercedes-Benz are owned by the Nazis. So we would just give it to our enemies. You would never hear an argument like that from other people. So this is just a weird phenomenon that is happening at a time where we have reparations on the plate like never before. And we're not going to let you, and a lot of them are tethers. Like a lot of them, they're not even FBA. Keep it a buck. A lot of them are not even FBA, so they don't qualify. So they're just really just trying to hate rather than, backing our moves, because if we're successful or when we're successful, it would probably give more leverage and momentum to you guys' individual reparation claims. So, listen, we're not going to allow you guys to distract us. We've been able to gain a lot of ground within the last few years pushing this reparation. Putting this conversation in the universe, putting it out there and then putting boots to the ground behind it. We have seen progress. This is why I say like the litmus test for me is, what's your stance on reparations? I cannot fuck with you if you can't stand on the fact that reparations are due. Because look at the mainstream media talking heads that have been put before us. How many of them speak on reparations? Like none. None of them. None of the hand-picked celebrities that they put in front of us to be our spokespeople even want to utter the word reparations. So that to me, that's the litmus test. If you can speak against reparations or not even speak on reparations, I'm not trusting it. You definitely can't be a spokesperson for me. So when I see cats like this, and even the goofy shit Umar Johnson's been saying about reparations, that's just, to me, it's like, I can't rock with it. It's a bad look. It's very suspect. Because these same cats weren't talking about reparations a couple years ago. Now that we're getting momentum, all of a sudden, now here they come. Basically to do the jobs of our enemies, to say, no, we don't deserve it, we shouldn't get it. You're giving sound bites and material for white supremacists to say this is why you shouldn't get reparations. Even your own people don't want them. So now they can pull a part of a percentage of our population to regurgitate the message that they really don't even want it. See, they said that they don't even deserve it. Their ancestors say they don't deserve it. Ridiculous. I imagine that the kind of cats that are saying these kind of things, some of these tethers, like I'm looking right here, right? I seen this video on Facebook, and it's like some Nigerian with his Chinese girlfriend, and they're just being ridiculous. This is the type of people who I imagine are the type that don't want us to get reparations.
They don't stop infection. They don't stop you from getting sick. We saw that happen, and then we saw the narrative change. But we knew that. We knew that it was just going to prevent you from serious illness. Well, why were you mad at me when I didn't get seriously ill? Why were people mad at me? Because I didn't do what they did. And they thought they did the right thing, and I didn't do the right thing. And I'm some crazy kook who believes in the flat earth and fucking chemtrails or whatever the fuck you want to treat. That's the reason why. And I'm promoting dangerous misinformation that actually turns out to be true. That's what's so crazy about all this.
I totally agree. Now, let's sort this out. I'm arguing that we should be forgiving of people who made this error naturally, which is almost everybody. What I'm arguing is beyond that line for me, where I'm not ready to forgive, is if they are continuing.
The only way they're going to stop is if we don't fight it. We just I feel like you have to present the information that seems to be true and valid. And I understand why people came to incorrect conclusions, why they have uncharitable perspectives about people that did not get vaccinated.
That's how I imagine that y'all look. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of lifestyle I imagine y'all have that are sitting here saying this goofy shit. Because we're being attacked by tethers, we're being attacked by coons, we're being attacked by white supremacists, and it's all the same. Because it's the same game plan at this point. So anyway, here's the last thing I want to talk about today. You know, when this Kanye West thing started coming out with the whole White Lives Matter and the swastikas and the slavery was a choice and the George Floyd overdosed, it wasn't really the police with his knee on his neck like that. A lot of cats really tried to jump out the window to imply that he was just such a genius that we don't really get the magnitude of what he's doing. When he fucked off $2 billion in a few days, y'all said it was a genius move because now he's out of those contracts. He just freed himself. You just don't get it. Now he's independent. He's going to make these power genius moves. He's just ahead of his time. We don't get it. You guys made him the revolutionary king of the movement. Once again, he's another person who doesn't speak on reparations. He won't even utter the words. Of course, he can't because he said slavery was a choice. So he disappears for a minute after all the trolling, after all the linking up with white supremacists like Nick Fuentes, going on Alex Jones and saying racism isn't even really a thing. And then he turns around and marries his second snow bunny. And I guess they're not officially married, but they did a wedding ceremony and he's wearing a wedding ring. So this could be a troll too. He could be just trolling Kim Kardashian with this. But how is that a genius move though? Look at this. This dude went right back to the snow bunny. So you want to talk about generational wealth and fucking off wealth, because it kind of ties into the reparations. Yeah, fucking off wealth. He fucked off $2 billion and whatever he has left, which I'm sure is a lot. Pretty sure he has a few $100 million at least. So now if he pursues and it makes this wedding official, there'll be another snow bunny that he is going to bless with generational wealth if they divorce. He's going to build up another nothing ass person and set them up for generational wealth while he's losing his. He couldn't find himself a sister. He couldn't just find himself and start doing some of these big moves you say he's going to do. Nope. See, cats like this make y'all look foolish when you jump out the window to defend him and create in your own mind these crazy scenarios that you think are happening. Like when you do goofy stuff, like start trying to justify the swastika because he made a symbol that looks just like it, or because he was actually trolling other people with it. Now you want to be like, oh, well, that was an ancient symbol of peace and sun, and like, cut it out. You've never seen anyone sport the swastika for any other reason but to promote white supremacy. And he never said that he's sporting it because it was an ancient Hindu or ancient Egyptian or ancient Ethiopian symbol. Y'all made that shit up. Y'all jumped out the window to try to justify it by saying goofy shit like that when that wasn't his intentions. So you guys are looking pretty goofy right now, taking L's. I compare y'all to the same type that support Taharka Bay. Because you can see something right in front of your face. Ignore it. That's like cognitive dissonance. You could ignore it, justify it, make excuses, read into it to the point to where you're now trying to make it seem like it's okay. And then you'll focus on some little shit that you're mad about that doesn't affect your life. You gotta do the same thing. You see a sex offender, woman beater, child abuser, documented, but then you want to point the finger and say like the real problem is the museum that Tariq Nasheed bought isn't as big as we think it should be. Or that he wrote something in a book 30 years ago. But you have no problem with the fact that you're rocking with someone who has been on the sex offense registry, which means he was actually convicted of a sexual crime. You let that slide and make excuses to continue to back that person who doesn't have any tangible receipts for doing anything productive for our people. And then you call other people agents. This is why the separation is a must. This is why like we have to just draw the line. You know, a lot of us abandon the good principles, people, organizations, individuals that actually brought sustenance and that's actually were good for us as individuals and as a collective. And we start adopting these new age weirdo ideologies and thoughts. And we wonder if propaganda works and if COINTEL is still operating. See, it used to be easy, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times we try to be so woke and so smart and so deep with it that we actually end up drowning in the deep end in our own mind, trying to pontificate extra, you know what I'm saying, extra shit to the point to where now we're actually working against ourselves. It's like when cats go into the Bible a little bit too deep. Back in the day, we just went deep enough to get the message, to get the power from it. So people who actually believed in Jesus would actually go out and do real work because that they believed that power would assist them in the mission, and it did. Even if it wasn't really that, it was really just them. Now we get so deep in it, we start justifying why we went to slavery. It's okay because God made us do it, because we disobeyed and all this other weird shit. That's not productive. And the production level has fell off. But the deep pontification, oh, that's at an all-time high. So it's the same kind of thing going on right now, where we have people that are telling you how terrible the NOI is, how terrible the FBA movement is, how terrible the Panthers are, all in which has got tangible results. But they want you to not pay attention to that, to watch a YouTube video of somebody who has no receipts, no resume of doing anything productive. We're supposed to abandon individuals, institutions, organizations that have benefited us to watch someone on YouTube whose only mission is to disrupt, discredit, and create disunity. In other words, the exact same principles and goals of COINTELPRO are manifesting in some of these goofy ass YouTube personalities, and people are gravitating towards that, not even knowing what they're really doing is backing COINTELPRO, literally, by principles, if not by literal practice. This is why the separation is necessary. This is why this battle, this inner conflict within our inner selves and within our communities must continue. We must purge. We must separate. We must recognize who is who. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like.